I am professor of anthropology at the University of Lille. And since we are talking here about interdisciplinary synergies, I would like to raise just an example regarding demography studies. Here in France, we know there is a problem with migration, illegal migration, and so on. But from the demographic point of view, well-known demographers say, oh, there is nothing. Because demographically speaking, it's irrelevant. The problem is that ordinary people don't think so. So we have a social problem or a societal problem, which I think cannot be explored using only demographic approach. There is something much more important involved that exclusively demographic research cannot give a satisfying answer. I had almost a similar but inverse problem. I have been faced with a similar but inverse problem in my work, as I am not a demographer, not a historian. I am an anthropologist, as I say. But I had the same problem working on Albania, which is probably, you know, a typical Mediterranean country, supposed to be very backward, very dynamically from the demographic point of view, especially as a good deal of ordinary Albanian embraced Islam in history. So Albanian society is considered, demographically speaking, very, very much dynamic, to the point that the demographic dynamism is justified in ethnic conflict like over Kosovo and things like that. I came over completely by chance that demographic data, there are good historical demographic data on Albania, and demographic data tell us exactly the opposite. Albanian society is not demographically dynamic. On the contrary, has been very much on the work of surviving. They struggle for, demographically speaking, they struggle for survival. How now could be explained this general opinion that Albanians are living in larger families, they are making many children, and so on? I see that in both cases, in France or in Albania, we are in face of the same problem, which cannot be explored only through demographic data. There is something which, as an anthropologist, I think as an ideological problem. There is an ideology pushing us to think in one way or another. In the Albanian case, is the cultural ideology of making many children, which make it possible for the society to survive. Here is the ideology of minimizing the demographic problem, or on the contrary, of amplifying the demographic problem. So the focus of our research can be not necessarily or not only in demographic approach, but also on ideological ground. And to do that, demographic data are not sufficient. That is my problem regarding the...